Okay, so today we're going to do a challenge. It's also going to be our notes, our instructions on the evolution of the motor. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Come on out here. Okay, so the first thing is the electromagnet. So an electromagnet, you see this is just a nail. I've got some wire wrapped around it. Okay, if I try to pick up something heavy with a magnet, nothing happens, right? If I put electricity through this coil, what'll happen is there's an electromagnetic field around any wire that has a current going through it. So there's no current going through it right now, so I've got no electromagnetic field. Now I take this and I touch the ends of the buttons, and actually this can get a little bit hot, so just be careful if you're going to do something like this. And check it out. I can lift up the stuff quite easily. It's an electromagnet. Now if I take off the end of it, it falls, right? So that's obviously an electromagnet. So I can actually cause electricity, I can use electricity to cause magnetism. Okay, what's that got to do with motors? Okay, so check this out. I've got this, this compass, and this compass is supposed to be pointing north, which is that direction anyways. Compass is all messed up though. Sometimes the compasses get a little bit messed up when you magnetize them with the magnet too close to it. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually magnetize the wires, and you're going to see that it affects the compass. You see how it turns the direction of the compass. Now what I can do is I can alternately, I can turn this so that it affects the direction of the compass. Okay. So sometimes the compasses get demagnetized. I had to take it off and magnetize it again. So check it out. So if I touch this alternately, usually if you have it set up right, and there we go. And so what I've done is I've made it so that if I alternately touch it, yay me, okay, I got the spin. So with that in mind, okay, how can I make a motor? And so what I'm going to do is I am going to get a coil, and I'm going to show you how to make this coil in a different segment. But I'm going to make this coil just out of what's called enamel coated magnet wire. I'll tell you how to get that and that kind of stuff later. But it's in all your motors. And what I'm going to basically do is make the most rudimentary motor I can do. I've got a battery here. I've got two paper clips. I've taped it so the paper clip is touching the button on the positive and on the negative, and I've fashioned this into a loop, and I've got a magnet there, and if I place the thing here and I just give it a little whirl here, if you can see that spinning like crazy. So you're gonna make this is gonna be your next DIY activity, is to basically make the simple motor. I'm going to probably need to give you a couple things to go along with it. There we go. And there we go. So you're going to make this today. So that's really how all motors work. I've got a motor here that we saw from previously, and I'll just make sure I remind you how this works. I've got electricity going through it, and when the electricity goes through, it spins the motor inside. So what magic is going on inside there? Once again, I've got a coil, just like a coil here, and it spins, just like this spins here. And I've got magnets on the inside. There's definitely magnets on the inside of that, and those magnets are like this magnet here. So the basic idea is that what we want to do is we want to get the electricity to go through, but we want to get it to go through intermittently. So I take and I'll show you exactly how to do this in another part of the video, but I take my scissors and I just basically scrape off the enamel. This is called enamel coated magnet wire. It's copper wire, but you can see it's red. Sometimes they're green, and they're basically coated with nail polish. And so on one side, I'm going to take off and I'm going to remove all of the enamel, all of it, so it's bright copper colored, just by basically doing this. I'm just scraping it all off. Right? And I've already done this, so I don't have to do it. On one side, I'm scraping off the whole entire thing. The electricity will get through the battery to here and go through this coil. However, on the other side, you won't be able to see this, but on this side, I've left the enamel there, so it's red. I've turned it over, and I've only scraped off the enamel off the bottom side, so it's shiny, right? Only scraped off the enamel off the bottom side, so it's nice and shiny. And so when you put it on here, the electricity, the current flow is intermittent. It's not going to go the whole time. It only goes half the time. So it pushes and lets go and pushes and lets go. If you've ever pushed somebody around a merry-go-round, right at the park, they're on the merry-go-round and you push and you let go, and you push and you let go, and you push and you let go. This guy actually has 3 pushes for every turn. Every one of these is connected to a little electrode thing. This is called the armature, and these are the contacts. And every time this contact touches, it puts the electricity through here 3 times for 3 pushes for every turn. 1 push, 2 pushes, and 3 pushes as it goes around. Every single motor is made the same way. Every single electric motor is made pretty much in basically the exact same way. Last thing I want to show you, we usually do this in class. I've got my little Tesla set up here. This is the exact same thing as what we got here. It's the same exact thing, but what I've done is I've connected to this battery pack here, and I'm just going to throw it on there. And you can see it's kind of thinking about going, and there we go. There goes my Tesla motor. I got it a little bit off. It's not very well balanced, so it's not spinning as fast as I'd like it to spin it. But anyways, you get the idea. That's the idea. There we go. All right. So your job is going to be either to make one of these, or much easier to make one of these. And come back to me, and that's your next challenge. Have a great day, and have a good time doing it. Good morning. This is the last thing. This last segment will give you some instructions. It'll go through these pictures and give you some detailed instructions on what to do about how to make this super simple motor. So go ahead and watch this last section. And lastly, it's how to make a simple motor. And you take the magnet wire, which is enamel-coated copper wire, which cannot be permanently magnetized, and not even slightest, and you wrap it into a circle. You take the circle and you tie off the ends, and so it makes your own simple armature. This is an armature, or the motor. Then you shave off one side so it gets good contact, metal to metal. And on the other one, you don't want to shave off the whole thing, because it will not allow it to alternate pushing. You only have to have the top side shaven off like this, and the bottom side should still be coated to work for the timing of the pushing. Then you get a battery and some paper clips, and you bend them into shape and tape the paper clips on the end. The paper clips look like that, and then they make a little cradle. You sit your armature or your motor assembly in the cradle, you slide a magnet underneath, and you give it a little push. And when you give it a little push, it should start to spin. The stronger the magnet, the stronger the battery, the more the coils, and the more balanced your system is, the better your motor will work. So